All right, so today is moving day, and we're going to be moving a 37-gallon corner reef tank. This tank has been in the same place since 2007. I don't know, summer 2007. I'd have to look at my exact dates, but I'm going to film real quick, just me tearing it down and moving it and going through some of the stages to help you be successful. You need to know where you're going and know that your space can handle it. You got electricity, and know that your space is level. We'll show the space here in a few minutes. But here's the tank. All right, it's bright and early here in Boise, Idaho. Filming the tank real quick. You can see I got my supplies. I'm going to try to take as much as the original water as possible. I'm going to use 2 Rubbermaid Tough Totes that are brand new. I'm going to rinse those out. All right, so first step, we're going to take about, I don't know, probably about 10%. I'm having some trouble with the lighting here. 10% with the water coming out of the tank. We're going to put it into the Tough Tote and start pulling some rock. We'll probably rinse the rock in the tank as we go. All right, so you can see we removed about half the volume of the aquarium into the 2 Tough Totes. We're looking at probably a net of about 18 gallons so far. It's important to remember that you have to be able to carry the mass of the rock and the water with a partner on your Tough Totes, so you don't want to overfill them. Any leftover water we'll use the 5-gallon water jugs to do, but we're going to try to distribute the water and the rocks as evenly as possible, and we're going to put the rocks with the invertebrates into one and the rocks that were underneath into another. You can see that the clownfish are not happy, as I can imagine. We'll get all the rock out, then we'll catch the fish. It's kind of cool looking at all the little pieces. This is a good time to get an idea of maybe frag out some stuff and get it prepared for trading trading for some different corals. All right, to minimize wear and tear and damage on the fish, I chose to not use a net, but to use a clean food-grade juice container. Make sure you rinse all your utensils properly. I'm going to throw the fish directly in with the live rock. Not the best idea because the live rock's going to move around and transport, but turns out the underlayment of the reef tank is so dirty, I don't want to pull this water out and transport the fish in it. So we're going to put them in the cleaner water that I pulled off, and we'll throw the pumps on the live rock here in a second. But I've got one more clownfish to grab. Where are you, Nemo? There you are. All right, fish are out and are in the transport buckets. They're a little heavier than I expected, but that's normal. I've got the live rock, the corals, the invertebrates, and my 3 fish. I'm going to decant off probably another 5 gallons of this water. I'm going to let some of the crud settle out for a few minutes just to make sure I have some emergency makeup water already made up, and then I'm going to stir up the gravel as much as possible and suck out as much of crap as I can in a hurry, not to transport dirt to the new residents. Well, you ever wanted to see what the sand bed of 5 years of reef tanking looks like? Oh, nasty. But that's an important part of the natural reef. I don't use any filters on this tank, so to recover the anaerobic zones and the aerobic zones is going to be a challenge on some of the invertebrates. And so the next couple of weeks we're going to have to do a few extra water changes with the idea that we don't have the natural breakdown of the nitrates occurring in the anaerobic zones. We're sucking them all out. Okay, we're finishing up emptying out the tank, the dirty water. The next step will be getting the lovely wife to help me move everything into the transport vehicle and move to our new location. Kind of neat. Check out the little stomatella. Very cool. Stomatella are a little invertebrate, snail-like, slug-like creature. They have kind of a half shell. They reproduce like crazy. I've got hundreds of them. All right, so as water is heavy and the glass is heavy and the rocks are heavy, I'm not going to take the sand out of the tank. You want to get as much water out of the tank as possible. One little trick is to set the tank at a slight angle. Be warned, you can break the glass doing this. I have done that, but most of the time it's pretty safe. Use a little block of wood or some other device to prop up the tank and get a little bit more gravity. In this case, I used a pickle jar lid to create a little bit of slope, and then I will suck the water from the lowest point in the tank and try to get all of it out. All right, so we got our 2 Tough Totes. Notice the tank has been removed from the corner. We'll have some serious cleanup to do afterwards. It's kind of nasty. I mean, 5 years of crevice. Anyways, we moved everything out to the garage. We're waiting on our ride to move to the new location. We will load the truck as soon as possibly can. Remember that you have water and water sloshes. Don't use the wife's new Mercedes or Volvo or BMW or Ford Explorer or whatever and splash water all over it. Ready to roll. All right, so we're loading up our trusty vehicle. Remember I mentioned not to spill your stuff in your lovely wife's new car. We'll see how that goes with gravity and water driving up the hill to the new place. And we're starting to load up the truck. All right, fish are loaded in the vehicle. Be aware, stopping and starting. The water is going to move. You must be prepared to get your car wet at this stage. If you're not prepared, remove the fish from the car and find an alternate vehicle. All right, so it was an absolutely gorgeous day here in Boise, Idaho, and we've successfully navigated up the hill to our new destination. As you can see, it's a little dark in there, but we've still got the critters in the car, and we're going to be unloading them into the house very carefully. I think we managed to get them without spilling any water. Whew. I got lucky. All right. All right, so we're at our new location, and it's real important that you know exactly where you're going with your space and your level. And so I've already measured the space. I know I have a spot for my light. I know the tank will fit here, but you got to make sure you get on your floor and check your floor and it's level, and our floor is level. A level tank does not leak. An unlevel tank will inevitably leak. All right, we've got our stand in here. Item of note, when you put it on a wood floor or things, it's nice to have something that you can slide it around with in case you have to drain some water and move it for painting in the future. I use a piece of carpeting. It's automotive carpeting, and then I cut it to fit the stand, and it works really nice to protect the floor and allow you to slide the tank later if you have to move it in the future. So real quick, we'll throw our, we'll push it in the corner, and we'll leave a little bit of space. Remember, we got to have space for our cords and things. Whoop. That's gonna look nice. All right, that's gonna look really nice. Now take a few minutes, and you definitely want to inspect your stand, inspect your tank, and check to make sure it's level. If you need to buy a new tank or buy a new stand, now's the time to do it. Actually, you probably should have planned that ahead of time and made sure there was one locally, like at your local fish store, or heaven forbid, have to go to one of the major box stores. But in an emergency, you gotta do what you gotta do. Always support your local fish store. All right, so in preparation of the fish tank move, I bought a couple new pumps. These SEO 1000s are just fantastic. They move 1,000 gallons per hour, and they're super efficient and quiet. Very, very cool pumps. I highly recommend them. And make sure you clean your new pumps before you use them. So I'll run them in some clean water here for a couple of minutes, and then make sure you have a Totino's pizza handy during the move, because it's important to stay energized and full. All right, so we got the tank completely set up. I've got it level, I've got it where I want, and then I filled it up with fresh, clean salt water. I mixed up each bucket independently. I did not mix the salt in the tank, and checked the salinity, and sure enough, we are right within where I need to be, about 1.024, which is what should be in the tough totes. And so what we're gonna do is let this tank run for about 30-45 minutes to make sure that any of the dissolved gases have had a chance to leave the water. We don't want to give the fish the bends. We're gonna go find the heater, and then we'll start pulling out some of the base rock that is not from the top of the reef, but down on the bottom, and start building our foundation. That will also start some of the mechanical filtration and beef up the bacterial filtration as well. And then we'll start acclimating the fish and the invertebrates to the new house water. All right, it's been a long day. We had to take a detour. My wife's sister decided to have her baby today, so we had to run in a hurry. Subsequently, I ended up shoving everything into the tank and getting it up and running as quickly as possible. And tomorrow, we will have to arrange the rock and the corals. Talk about a slam dunk in the tank, but Nemo and Hercules look good. All the critters look good. Salinity is good. Temperature is good. And everybody looks frisky, so we'll check back tomorrow and put her back together. Now, normally one should hang their light before they bring the tank in. But in this case, I didn't have enough time, so. All right, so it took a couple days to get it finished up and get the shelf up. The fish like being in the dark for a couple days. As you can see, the water has cleared up nicely. We had zero loss other than a couple damaged the rhodactis, the hairy mushrooms that got kind of squished in transit, but they'll either fluff off or recuperate and get bigger. They grow like crazy anyway. But as you can see, the fish are perky and happy in their new home, and the invertebrates are looking good. I still need to do a little bit more rearranging of the rocks and get them a little more aesthetically pleasing, and then fix the pumps too, because you can see how the pumps are moving all the gravel in the front to the middle, but I'll get that fixed up shortly. Anyways, here's to a successful move of a small 37-gallon invertebrate reef tank from one house to another, only in Idaho.